Well, 21 years, my friends. 21 years is how long I've been living in this house. And for about 13 of those years, I've been making YouTube videos. All the way back from the early days when I was still inspired by the home I lived in and able to go out and explore the world. People were still pretty much normal. The internet hadn't become what it is today. Everyone wasn't buried in their phones. It was just around the time when the iPhone really started to take off, so it was still kind of a new and novel thing. And during those early days of making YouTube videos, I talked a lot about things like prepping, being prepared. I'd always been a prepping minded person, and over the years, of course, once you have a few things that you've prepared as much as you can for, you've got some dried food, ammo, whatever your thing is, uh, you go about your life. You know, it's not the kind of thing that I want to turn into a everyday occurrence where I'm always thinking about being prepared. But it's always been in the back of my mind. And something that's always nagged at me is not having a property where I feel secure. To where if anything big were to happen, I'd be able to feel like I had like a homestead and a kind of place where I could grow my own food, maybe raise animals if I wanted to, and be protected against the, seedier elements of city life. And I've always lived in the suburbs, so I've mentioned I'm in the Portland area, but folks who don't live here, to give them an idea, Portland's on the, in Oregon, obviously, but the river divides Oregon and Washington, the Columbia. So I live right across the Columbia River in Vancouver, Washington, on the east side. And when we moved in here, I live on near a place, a road called Mill Plain, which tells you right there, it used to be nothing but plains. I mean, there was a mill on there, and yeah, go figure. But even when I moved in, 21 years ago, there was a lot of vacancy and a lot of empty lots and grass fields along the road, and it's just become bumper to bumper, ridiculoso. But that's not even the reason for wanting to leave. It's wanting to get the hell out of the city in general because I want to have a piece of land to work with. So my wife and I have dreamed for years about buying property. I talked towards the tail end of the pandemic days about how we'd been looking to buy a place, and we'd looked in Kentucky even. I mean, probably the last place you would expect, some liberal Portland guy to want to move. But to me, it's about my family, spending our lives in a place where we're left alone generally, and where we have enough property to be able to expand and grow. Fortunately, we decided to stick around here, and we found a house, and we're closing on the house and signing the papers sometime between now and Friday. That's all I know for sure. I haven't talked a lot about this, and I don't talk a lot about my personal life on here. And that's for good reason, multiple reasons, but I figure most people aren't here to hear about what goes on in my life. But some are, and some are interested, and I'm always interested in sharing, especially in the things I create and discover. So I'm starting the Carpo's Homestead channel. It's not necessarily starting. What I'm doing is I have my primary account, which is Carpo Craft Woodworking and Jewelry. Some of you might be subscribed to that as well. I've changed it over to Carpo's Homestead, and it's going to document the process of me moving into my new house, the exploration, the first days in there. There are two large chicken coops down in the field that are filled with bushes and need to be cleared out, and a large field with some apple trees. I'm going to create a food forest, so it's not like, row gardening. It's more like kind of guerrilla planting style, but with companion plants and fungi that will provide food over the coming years. The property's on 3 acres. It's right near the Lewis River. It's a beautiful crystal clear river, and it's the acreage is divided up into about 2/3 forest and 1/3 field. big open field with area to camp and a large barn, metal barn down there. And yeah, the 2 chicken coops, as well as a spigot and potential power down there as well. The spigot is fed from the well, so we had to have the well tested, and they ran out like 3,000 gallons with no problem. It's a good well, and it's got good pressure. So as long as we can keep that well pumping, we won't have to worry about, city water, which who wants to drink that crap anyway or bathe in it? Well water is usually good stuff. So we've got well water, we've got septic, so we don't have to worry about backed up sewers. I mean, everything fell into place for this, but it took everything from us that we had. Not just savings and equity on the home that we fortunately got back in 2004 before the crash. But yeah, there were years we went to the store with a calculator. There were times when we had to scrimp and save. But we are very frugal in the way we go about life. We don't buy new cars and fancy clothes. I shop at Goodwill and we buy used stuff and don't need things. Our phones are usually from the used phone store for $100. This is so we can get the things we really want, and what we really wanted was a property, and now we're going to have it. We got all the inspections done, we had the appraisal done, it came out above what we paid for it, everything is working out in our favor, and I haven't wanted to curse it by making a video talking about this, but as I'm sitting here in my room, as you can see, if you're a regular viewer, you might notice there's not as much junk behind me, or maybe not. I put some more crap up on the shelf, but they were empty earlier. This is my storage room / like music, guitars, everything. It's pretty much cleared out except for some stuff that is still on the shelves I've got to put in boxes and load. But we've spent the last 3 weeks boxing up and getting ready. We spent Saturday and Sunday having a garage sale, which is miserable, especially when it's like 95 degrees out like it was, so we had hardly anybody come through. And the only couple people that did saw the stereos I had in the ad, and one guy talked me out of selling like 2 of my favorite stereo receivers for like $25 a piece or something. It doesn't matter, it's just stuff. When you've spent 20 years in one place, you collect a lot of stuff. If you're like me. Now, some people aren't, collectors, don't have a lot of hobbies, but I have a lot of hobbies and interests. I've done, resin working, leather working, lapidary. I've got, various stones and stuff I've got to carry. Some of my subscribers have sent me stuff. I think it was Blaze Harmon that sent me some jade, which I still have that chunk, and I've cut some cool pieces out of it. I don't forget those things. But I haven't really, I don't know, it hasn't sunk in yet that I'm moving into a new house in a week. Even though I'll be working on this place for probably the next month, because I got to put a new roof on it, a new floor, or refurbish the floor that's here, new trim, new appliances. It's what I do. I do remodeling, so I have to do my own house naturally. I'm not going to pay somebody else to do it. So if I want to get the most for it on the market, and that's sounds like first world problems to a lot of people out there. Maybe if you're a renter, you might be scoffing at, the big problems of having to fix your own house up. You're a homeowner, you're lucky, and I'm extremely grateful for that. I don't take it for granted or say, I'm better than anyone else. I've been really lucky. We bought this place on a literal stated income. And maybe you haven't heard of that because they probably don't use it anymore. But before 2008 and the financial crash and housing crash, they were giving out loans left and right, and that's why there was a crash. And my wife and I, were those kind of people that were able to get one of those loans to buy a house. And the house we were buying was, I believe, $125,000, and we haven't even paid hardly much down on it because of the interest and the principal versus interest. And but we've tried to do what we can. The point was, once you bought a house, even if you're just barely paying the interest, it's gaining equity. And so after the crash, housing prices skyrocketed. And during COVID, holy crap. I mean, I was tempted to just say, let's just sell this place and just go on the road, you know? But really, we know what we wanted, because in the end, you have to come back from the road. You want a home, a place where you can lay your head and look at the stars at night and hang out with your family and enjoy yourself. So there will be plenty of amazing videos in the hot tub, and maybe not in the hot tub, but I'll probably make a couple chilling in there. Yeah, it's a hot tub out in front of the house. It's got a little, it's fully gated field down below with even like a little electric fence on the top in case, I think it was for, I can't tell if it's keeping people out or in, but it might have been for horses. Half joking. But it's a beautiful property, and I'm extremely grateful to be able to at least spend the years I have left raising my kids in a place that is beautiful and natural, because society just breaks you down. You know, living in the city is just horrendous. You know, it stinks, it's loud, it's bright. So, if you would like to join me on that journey, feel free to check out my other channel. And if you need a link, I will probably post it down below. All you have to do is look up Carpo's Homestead, and it'll probably pop up. And I obviously don't have any, well, I have a couple videos of the property, and I'll upload those to the channel so I can just, like the original walkthrough and everything. Because I want to make this kind of an ongoing series where I document, you know, the move, the first day up there, signing the papers, moving in, you know, getting it set up the way we like it, and living off the land as much as possible. It's got a large forest area down back, and then there's a trailhead on the other side of the road, so I'll be taking a lot of nature walks. So anyway, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I'm pretty drained from all the organizing and trying to move and pack things that I haven't seen in years, but it's all going to be worth it in the end. Yeah, definitely. Peace and love.